Hi everyone, welcome back to the podcast. I think we're on episode 5 now. Really excited, and I've really been happy with how it's going. And I'm cooking up new content all the time, and I'm really excited about it. So thank you for listening, for tuning in, for watching, whatever it is. I appreciate it. So today we're going to do Q&A. And my hope is that every so often, maybe every 5 episodes, maybe, I don't know how exactly I'll figure it out, but I want every so often be continually doing Q&A because I think it's a way more interesting thing sometimes to just kind of an interesting way, I should say, to get away from the normal content and to really engage with anybody who has any questions at all. So that's what we're going to do today. I'm going to answer just a few questions that came in that I thought were really interesting and that might be of value to you. So let's get right into it. All right, so to start on a light note, one question I got was my favorite coffee shops, and specifically in Lynchburg, where I go to school, but I also wanted to expand that everywhere, like my favorite coffee shops I've ever been to. So in Lynchburg is my absolute favorite coffee shop, which is Golf Park. You need to go there. Just really high quality coffee, great cold brew setting. Everything about Golf Park is like perfect for me. So that's my like number one coffee shop, I think. But I also love Peaks Coffee in Syracuse. Is amazing. They're pretty new, but they're awesome. Then also, when I've been traveling, I got to go to Compass Coffee in DC. That's an awesome place to stop at. And they make great beans. They do beans in-house, and they're amazing. And I have some that I've been brewing recently, which are really good. And there's one more. I think this is kind of a not coffee like, I should say, like not like a very barista-y sounding thing, but Starbucks Reserve in New York City I got to go to last summer, I think, and it is amazing. If you like coffee, if you're interested in coffee at all, you need to go. They just have every kind of coffee, every origin, every brew type, everything you could ever want at Starbucks Reserve in Hudson Yards in New York City. So it's amazing, and that's another favorite too. So, but Golf Park takes the cake. Even though it is a way smaller shop and it's kind of literally in the middle of nowhere compared to the rest of the world, it's my favorite just because it's basically in my backyard and just the vibe is unlike anything else. So those are my coffee shops answers. And then another question I got, which is another lighter one, is my favorite memories from college so far. Because I'm about to go into my last semester of college in this coming fall. So it's gone by. But I think one of my favorites is just all the kind of late night craziness that happens, like going off campus to like cook out like at like midnight, or I don't know, just like taking random drives off campus, and just a lot of that spontaneous stuff that you don't plan out, and that, you know, it's like I have stuff due tomorrow, but I'm just not gonna worry about that right now because right now I'm investing time with these people. That's been the most meaningful stuff to me, has been those really unplanned moments when you can really build, it's kind of cheesy to say build relationships, but just have those shared memories of, oh, remember that time that was crazy? Like, yeah, like that's what I've found has built and grown so many of my relationships in college, is being there and being present for those little moments that aren't planned, they aren't scripted, that don't always make a lot of sense on paper even, but they're just fun moments where you can bond with people. And that's how a lot of my good friends that I'm still friends with today, we bonded over those crazy experiences. And that's why we're still friends, I think, in part because we shared that really crazy thing. And we might not even remember that really at the front of our minds, but just that experience kind of built that relationship. So that's one thing. And I think another thing would be, I go to Liberty, so it's so big, you know, Bible college basically. And yeah, so with that, one of my other favorites is all of our campus community worship nights. All that stuff has been the most amazing part of college. Just being together with all those people and just everything that happens in the span of a night is just crazy. So that's another highlight too, is having those experiences at Liberty together with everybody. So I think that wraps it up. It mostly comes down to that, to the random memories with friends and worship nights and all that kind of really deep stuff that happens. Yeah, I think that wraps it up. Okay, so the next question is more serious, and that's something that I'm glad somebody asked. I promise I didn't plan it. Is what made me want to start a podcast? And I'm glad this was asked because I think I have a pretty good answer on it. So first of all, it kind of grew out of the Monday Motivation thing. If most of you probably know me from that, or know that about me, that's kind of my staple is Monday Motivation. And that was good. It started out on Snapchat a few years ago, just doing like literally 1-minute videos on Snapchat, little motivational thing. Then I transitioned it to Instagram stories and I would talk longer, and then I made the transition to Instagram posts, and that went even longer. And I was like, okay, I just have way too many thoughts to only do short little videos on social. So I decided, and especially with COVID and with summer having a lot of time to work on this stuff, that the podcast would be a great pivot and something great to try. So that's one part of it. And another part of it is I really just want to bring depth to the motivational podcast, motivational content world. Because so much of I feel like so much of the motivational self-help kind of media is very just like, yeah, go get it, go do it, blah, blah, blah. It's very like, which is good, but it's shallow, because just telling someone, hey, you can do it is not always enough. That's something that one of my mentors taught me is like, yeah, like a lot of people just need like that, yeah, you can do it. But a lot more people don't just need the, yeah, you can do it. They have that drive. They just don't have the tools. They're not sure how to set effective goals or how to communicate with someone, how to ask for help. Like those are the things that people need. It's not so much, some people, all they need is that little push, but some people have that push. What they need are the tools to make it happen. And so I really wanted to step beyond the, yeah, you can do it, into here are some tools, and not just, and also like getting beyond kind of the superficialness of a lot of these goal things, which is like, do it for yourself and all this stuff, which isn't a bad thing, but I don't know. I think there's so much about goal setting and so much about motivation that needs to be resolved within us, because there's a lot of like law of attraction, all this stuff of like, if you just want it and speak it into existence, it'll come to you, and all this stuff. I'm like, will it though? Like, because there's so much about this thing that is about self-awareness and is about dealing with things within yourself and being aware of things in your sphere. And you can't just speak it into existence. There are things that need to be resolved in you. And so I thought that a big part of my role to play was to help people my age and literally anyone else be self-aware and set goals that are worth achieving and understand themselves in a way that will propel them forward into the future. So that's a long-winded way of explaining why this podcast started. Then the last question, which is pretty heavy also, is if I could give my past self relationship advice, dating advice, what would it be? And I think it boils down into 4 areas. If I can do it very quickly. Number 1 is it starts when you're single. It all starts being single. A lot of people are like, man, I just want to date. I want to date. And that's fine. If you want to date, sure, go for it. Look forward to it. I wanted to date for a long time. But you have to understand your motivation. If your motivation behind dating is, I just don't want to be lonely, your problem isn't that you're not with someone, it's that you can't live with yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're really lonely and that's why you want to get a boyfriend or girlfriend, first try to get a community of people around you, some solid friends that you can invest in, family that you can open up to, like get a solid circle, because it's okay to be lonely, like that happens, that's valid, but don't, look for someone to fill a void in you, because we'll start that off, we'll start just with step 1. This is something that I believe with every ounce of me. It's something that way smarter than people than me have said, is that, ultimately at the end of dating, right, our objective is to get married, in my opinion. And when you get married, it's not 2 halves becoming whole. It's two complete people becoming one. It's, and so basically, if you have single problems, you're going to bring that into your relationship. So try to deal with those single problems so that you're most equipped to go into a relationship, because guess what? When you get in a relationship, you're just going to have bigger problems. So try to, not that you're perfect, but that you have tabs on your problems when you go into dating. So that's number one. Number two is know your standards. Take time to figure out, what do I want? Who do I need in this relationship? And hold on to those standards and just know them and screen potential candidates by those standards and don't lower them. And that goes right into number three, don't settle. Don't just say, oh, well, this is close enough. Like, do not settle. Like, find someone who is really what you're looking for, who really is meets your criteria. And then number four is keep trying. A lot of times I know guys will, go on dates here and there, and they'll just be like, man, like it's been so much a struggle. And it's like, we just got to keep trying, and that's a big thing with guys I've noticed is a lot of times we're scared to get out there. We're scared to put ourselves out there because we get hurt. And of course that's valid, but you got to have skin in the game. That's what I tell people all the time. It's like, bro, you have to have skin in the game. You got to step out, and yeah, you might get hurt, but it's worth it. You need to step out and put skin in the game. So those are my four dating principles that I have tried to live by in my relationship. And yeah, those are my thoughts on that. All right, so that is a wrap for Q&A for this round. Again, I'm going to try and do more of these into the future. So if you have any questions, I will, when I'm getting ready for the Q&A, I'll post it on my Instagram story. So please feel free to drop it there. Or if, I haven't done that yet, feel free to email me, DM me, whatever it is. Let me know. I'm always happy to answer questions. I love doing Q&A. So feel free to ask. And yeah, I'm going to try and do this on a regular basis because I think that's way more interesting for you as a way of interrupting my normal routine. So yeah, that's it. Also, as a note, tbertus.com is officially up. And so that's just my general use website. Right now it's for the blog, but I'll probably be transitioning it to kind of encompass everything I'm trying to do in the world. So that site is up if you want to go look at it. You probably know most of it, but if you're a new listener or looking for the complete list of ways to interact with the podcast, it's all up there for you. So tbertus.com, tbertis.com. It's up right now, so go check it out. And of course, again, if you have any questions, any comments, concerns, feel free to let me know. Comment, literally DM, any means of communicating with me. I'm happy to communicate with you. And this podcast doesn't mean anything without you interacting in one way or another. So yeah, I hope this is helpful for you. And if you like the podcast, please pass it on. It means a lot to see as many people as possible interact with it. So thank you so much for the support, and I will see you next week. Have a good one.